Hey, what's going on? Today's video is all about how to use the row work properly and how to get the most out of it. Let's get into the basics. So first things first, this damper on the side here, this yoke, leave it set somewhere between 6 and 7. Higher, like 10, doesn't make rowing harder. Lower doesn't make it any easier. All it does is affect the drag, which affects your stroke, and it affects the quality of the work you end up doing. It is not how hard it is. Now, let's talk about the monitor and what the different things on that mean. Let's talk about this monitor. So, if you get onto the machine that's still running, just press menu, just row, and it'll turn on. What you can see are two things, the two primary things you need to watch out for, your stroke rate and your 500 meter time. So, your natural instinct is going to be to try and go faster by pulling more strokes. That doesn't need to happen. I'm gonna have to do a demo so you can see it, so you won't be able to hear me talk, but basically what I'm going to do is row a couple of strokes at 20 strokes per minute, easy, and then a couple of strokes at 20 strokes per minute hard, and you'll see the 500 meter pace change as a result. So what you hopefully notice with that is, despite my stroke rate staying between like 19 and 21 strokes per minute, the 500 meter pace, which is essentially the speed I'm going, changes dramatically. And it changes dramatically because of the effort and power I put into the machine each time. And it's really important to remember that, because higher stroke rates and pulling more rate or more reps doesn't mean you're going faster. It just means you're tiring yourself out unnecessarily. You're better off putting more power into each stroke and getting fitter that way. As a general rule, for the most part, you probably want to be between 24 and 32 strokes per minute. That's kind of the sweet spot for optimum power output and endurance. So, now that we understand the monitor and how that works, let's talk basic technique. First thing is making sure your feet are in the correct position. So, you want to have the foot strap, when your heels are in the slides, pretty much across the widest part of your foot. So like the base of your big toe across your instep. Once that's happened, crank it down reasonably tight. So, from there, grip is really important. So, I'm going to show you just underhand here. You will grab, of course, overhand. When you grab the handle, do not grab it down here, okay? That will make absolute crap of your hands, and it'll also put you in a really poor rowing position. Instead, grab it in your fingertips, nice and light. It should be a very light grip. Your arms are just hooks for this, and despite what you may think, they don't actually do that much work. It's all your legs and your hips that drive the movement. So if you grab with the middle of your hand, when you finish a stroke, you end up here with this really cocked and flexed forearm position, which over the course of some work will blow up your forearms and make your grip the limiting factor. If you grab it in the fingertips, when you finish, you end up with a really nice straight wrist position, letting your legs and back do most of the work. Now, the row stroke itself, it can be really complicated or it can be really simple. I like to think of it as chest to monitor, push, pull. So chest, push, pull. And what I mean by that is, your chest comes in towards the monitor, your legs push, and then your arms pull. Okay, so your legs are doing most of the work, your arms are doing a little bit of the work. In real time, it looks like this. So, as you can see, it's not a fast, snappy movement. It's very smooth, it's very fluid. Think of this as being like underwater. If you just snapped at the handle constantly when you're on a real boat, you'd fall over. This thing is designed to train Olympic rowers on. So the best thing you can do is try to mimic their technique. So when you end up in this position here, which is called the catch phase, you're looking for your shoulders to be slightly in front of your hips. If you end up leaning back at all times and you do your whole row like this, your legs never actually get to use any power and you never get to develop your lungs or leg strength as much as you could. What also ends up happening then is your back does way more work than it needs to do, and it ends up way more fatigued, which, obviously isn't good. So when you come into the catch position, think of chest to monitor, because what that forces you to do is stay up tall and lean your chest towards the monitor instead of bending over here. So lean in, you won't get there, but try to think of putting your chest on the monitor, and then drive with the legs, and then finish with the arms. The arms come back first, and then eat out the legs. From there, you just got to be consistent and just take your time. Play around with stroke rates, see how that affects your 500 meter pace, and just get used to the unique pain and joy that a rower brings. Then when it's time to get off, the easiest way to do it is to grab the underneath here, grab the plastic part of the strap, push it down, pull your toe, pull, and you're out.